Good morning and welcome to the Student Hub Live. Well, this is our special event for Access students. And my name's Karen Foley. I'm a lecturer here at the Open University, and I'm really pleased to be hosting today's programme of events that we've got for the next couple of hours to tell you everything we think you should know about Access modules. Now, this is a live online interactive event, and while we've got some great content, the best thing I think about being here is the opportunity to meet other students on your module, talk to them, ask any questions that you're not quite clear about. Tell us what you think and how you're feeling, where you are in the country, why you're studying, what you're studying. Those are all our interactive polls or widgets. And so to tell us what you think or what you're doing, you can just select the item that you'd like to vote on, put your responses in those boxes and then press return. And for the word clouds, if you can only think of one or two things, that's fine, but just put a full stop in. Otherwise, the computer will say no and your results won't submit. When you've done that, you can see what everyone else at home thinks also. Now, the chat's scrolling along fast and there's a pin button on the top right-hand side of the screen. So you can always pin things if you'd like to pause for a minute and see what other people are saying. And if it's too overwhelming, just enjoy the show, or you can watch the show later and enjoy talking to other people too. Now, HJ and later George will be moderating the chat on the hot desk. So hello, can you explain how it all works, HJ?
Yes, well, a lot of people already in there. I'm very excited to get going. A lot of us are just starting on our Access modules, which is fantastic. And with the chat, pretty much anything goes. Our guests love to hear your thoughts, comments and questions on the sessions, or we can talk about something completely different. I know someone's bringing back pastries for us from France as we speak, so we're very excited for that. But nothing is a bad question or a bad comment. We want to hear everything, and it's all useful because if you don't ask it, then no one might. And a lot of people are probably in the same situation as we're finding out in the chat. But Lauren does tell us it's National Coffee Day today, so we've all got our coffees at the ready. We're very happy about that. And people are telling us where they're from. So Caitlin is from North Wales, and Michelle's joining us from Edinburgh. Carmen is attending from work, so we won't tell anyone. And Kaylee's all ready to go with a massive mug of tea, a notepad, and she's got some snacks as well. So we're all raring to go in the chat.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, let me tell you what we've got in store for you today. So some of you might have come to our general event yesterday, and we covered all sorts of things in that, and we had a pretty good time. But today we're going to focus specifically on the Access modules. So we're going to start with an introduction and introduce you to some of the team. Then we're going to talk about where you can get support. And again, I'll introduce you to some of our student support team and other colleagues. We're then going to focus on making the most of online study. Then we have a really good session called How to Pass the Module. So stay tuned for that at 11:10. And then we've got a Q&A session, but we'll be answering questions as we work through. And hopefully by the end of that programme today, you'll feel happy to start your studies, all your questions will be answered, and you'll feel connected to other students and also part of our team here at the Open University. So let's make a start. I've got John Butcher and George Curry. Welcome.
Hello, thank you, Karen.
Good. So John, I was wondering if you could tell us why we're all here today.
Well, I think we're all here because it's a beautiful autumn day today.
Yes.
And it's got that feel of the start of term or the first day at school and something like that. So that combination of excitement and mild trepidation, or perhaps naked fear, I don't know. But I think I wanted to get across to all our new Access students, and I welcome all of them. Well done. You're going to have a terrific 30 weeks, I think, that you're not alone. This is a really exciting course, a really exciting module, but you're not alone. We've got about 2,500 students starting today, and we've been running the Access programme since 2013, so 6 years now, and you're one of perhaps 30,000 students who've registered on the programme. So this is really large scale, and the excitement is that we know from the way we've worked with students over the years that this really prepares students to do well in their higher education studies. So this is an absolutely stunningly exciting kick-off.
Brilliant. Well, let's see what everyone said when we asked, how are you feeling right now?
Okay.
Excited, happy, interested, overwhelmed, want to get started, hopeful, eager, anxious, awkward, nervous, curious, intellectual, not, pumped up, hopeful, old, oh dear.
I'll go with that one.
Yeah. So lots of things coming through, and you can fill those in as and when you'd like to throughout the programme today as well. Okay, so where do people start, George?
Well, good question. Hopefully, most students about to start will have already received their pack of materials through the post, which will be very exciting. We're going to look at a couple of those in a moment. But also, every student will have their module website, which is accessible through their student home. Now, there's absolutely no need for students to go there until week 9 of the course. That's when the online teaching element starts. But there are lots of exciting things to have a look at beforehand if you want to. And I think we've got...
Yeah, let's take a look at the VLE. Will says he hasn't had this back to school feeling in years.
Oh.
Brilliant. So let's take a look at the VLE, the virtual learning environment,
Yes.
which is this landing page here.
Yeah, so this is the module website. This is the module website for Y032, which is our People, Work and Society Access module. But if you're on either Y031, our Arts and Languages module, or Y033, our Science, Maths and Technology module, you will have your very own module website as well. And it's organised around your study calendar. So it tells you what you need to do each week. And as you can see, we're looking at week 0 at the moment, and there's a few things in there that if you wanted to do before you get started in earnest, that would be absolutely fine. There is some online versions of the Start Here leaflet and the assessment guide that you'll also have in hard copy through your pack. There's a link to the forum where you can talk to some students, and there's a link to giving you some information about how to learn online if you're not entirely sure how to navigate around the website. But Anne Victoria and friends later will be talking you through that in a little bit more detail.
Brilliant. So we've been asking people about why they're studying and their motivations for studying. And as we know, there are a wide range of content here in different modules. So let's see what people said about why they're studying. But HJ, first, can we go to you quickly and see what people are talking about in the chat?
Well, again, we're just talking about how excited we are to get started with our modules. Julia's enjoying the block so far, and it's really helping her brush up on note-taking and general studying. So we're starting to get into it. We've had a little browse of our materials, and we're just getting ready to go. A lot of people are nervous because they haven't studied in so long, which is normal, and like we said in the chat, we're feeling like we're starting big school, which is fantastic. But a lot of people may have noticed behind me that I've got a lot of pictures on my board of study tips. So if you want to send me in a study tip, or there's something that you want to share or think is really good idea, then I'd love to hear it. And people were sending us photos throughout our refreshers event. So people have been sending us photos of the study buddies, their pets, what the view is from where you are. And if you want to join in and send something in to us, you can using our email, studenthub@open.ac.uk. Just let us know it's your photo and you're happy for us to show it on the show. And as always, it's only fair if you send something in to us, we send something back to you. So we've got these fantastic posters that we'd love to send to you, and you can give us your address alongside that as well. But we had a fantastic time yesterday with loads of tips and loads of pictures being sent in.
Rachel missed yesterday and she's worried now.
That's it. So the good news is it's all available on catch up. So if you missed anything, don't worry. There's always catch up, and we'll be sharing lots of great tips today as well.
Brilliant. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel, plus we put a little playlist together. So if you are new to study and you're interested in seeing what tutors do about the virtual learning environment, about things like note-taking, etc., then you can go and have a look on the website at the playlists on the YouTube channel. Just Google Student Hub Live and you'll find heaps there. OK, so George, you started showing us the VLE in week 0, so that all sounds really exciting. But what's great also is that we've got a map of the module, and it's really nice to be able to track progress. So do you want to tell us a bit about that?
Yes, we think it's really important that students understand where they are in the module at any given time. So we've got this diagram here, which you'll be able to find in your Block 1 book, and it's also available via your module website. And you can see that as of next week, you will be here at the module intro. And the first week of the course, which you'll find...
Going round in a big circle then,
Going round in a big circle. Yes, this is known as the snail diagram, colloquially. So you start off spending a week really getting to grips with how the course works, the sorts of subjects you'll be covering, the sorts of skills you'll be developing, what your relationship with your tutor will be like. So it's a week to really get to grips with that. And then you can see that the main part of the module are the 3 main blocks. But in between those, we've got our options weeks, where you as a student get to choose what you want to study. If there's something you particularly fancy that isn't in one of the blocks, you can spend some time on it then. And later on, we've got the blue week there, which is moving on week, which is a bit of time to think about where you are in your study, what you want to do next, what other modules are available for you, see what you might want to do after Access. And then all culminating in submission of TMAO4, the final assignment. And as you mentioned, we're going to be talking a little bit more about assessment later on.
Oh, yes.
But that diagram is a really good, helpful sort of locator for when you're in the module, so you can always sort of see where you are in relation to the module as a whole.
Brilliant. Now, you mentioned that students don't need to get online for a little bit, but there's lots of great stuff online. And one of the things I particularly like is the forums, in particular the welcome forum, because that's a great place to go and introduce yourself. So let's take a look at some of the tabs on the VLE and sort of focus on some of the key areas that students might need to look at if they want to find out more about that.
Absolutely, lovely. So we're back at the module homepage again, and as you can see along the top, there's some tabs that say assessment, tutorials and forums that we're highlighting there, and that's where you click to get to your module-wide forum or your tutor group forum. Now, they are really, really lovely resources, the forum. They're a bit like what we were experiencing in the chat box today. It's a place for you to build friendships, relationships, give each other study support, get each other over difficult days, get excited about the subject that you're studying. It's the closest you get to hanging out in the common room at university and making friends. So again, we'll be talking about different sources of support later, but the forums are a really good place for that.
Absolutely. And there's something you can dip in and out of. And it's important also to bear in mind when you need to use them and when not to, because sometimes I can go on the forum and then 3 hours later I'm immersed in a conversation. So sometimes it can be useful to really focus on what you want to know.
And sometimes, I think the nice thing is you can ask a question. If you're not quite sure in the forum, leave it for an hour or two and another student will have answered it for you.
And you can also answer other people's questions.
Of course you can, but you needn't hang out there all the time. You can click in and click back again a couple of hours later.
Yeah.
But you'll probably find that lots of other people are feeling just like you, are experiencing the same worries as you or the same excitement as you, and it's lovely to be able to share those experiences.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely perfect. Now, the other thing I wanted to just briefly mention before we end this session is about our student support team. Now, we've got a special session on those later, but many students are studying us with disabilities, and so it's important that they know where they can reach out for support.
Absolutely, and there's information about how to contact your student support team in the Start Here leaflet that you'll have got as part of your pack. But obviously your tutor is one of the first ports of calls if you've got some worries about studying. But if there's anything else you're worried about, get in touch with your student support team and they will be there to advise and guide you about the best course of action. And that's particularly true if you need a different type of materials or you've got a disability you'd like to discuss or anything at all really.
And people can find information on the module website as well about the SST.
Absolutely can, yes.
So here we can see circled about student support team.
Yes, absolutely. So if you just click on that link there, then it'll give you all the information that you need about how to contact them or email them directly. But they are there to help.
Brilliant, excellent. So I'd like to end, John, by asking you, in all the Access things that you've done, what's the most exciting thing that you'd like to tell students about?
Oh gosh, that's a tricky one, Karen. I mean, in many ways, I think it came through in the word cloud, really. I noticed the word eager. And I think when we talk to our students and when we've researched with our students, I want everyone to understand this, we recognise you've made a really big first step to even engage with the Open University and to start with your Access module. And that eagerness, I think, is something we really want to carry through your studies, certainly for the Access programme. I think there's something about having a one-to-one tutor which I think is brilliant. I remember a comment when I was doing some research a couple of years ago and a student said to me, well, I've never had a tutor before. And it's that, the very word is a bit funny, isn't it? But I think the fact that you have a tutor and your tutor will be having an individual conversation with you, very supportive to help guide you through the material, that's the really classic thing. And the best thing of all is the fact that we have now students who started on their Access programme who've now graduated. They've got their degrees, they've got their certificate laminated up in their kitchen, they've done it. So this is a really lovely programme.
Absolutely. And we've got 90% of people here who are brand new to the OU, so you're
Yeah.
very, very welcome. And also people have been telling us which module that they're studying, and we've got 50% on YO32, 13% on YO31 and 29% on YO33, so a really lovely mixture. But equally, you know, they've all got something in common, even if they're doing different modules, so it's really lovely. Excellent. Well, thank you for that. We're going to be seeing a lot more of you two later. John's going to come back at the very end and answer any questions you've got, so you must tell us what they are so that we've got something for him to do. Our next session is about where you can get support. But first, we're going to show you some videos that we've had from our Access students so that you can meet other people. And if you'd like to send us a video, we'd love to hear from you as well. So just email studenthub@open.ac.uk if you'd like to send a video, and we'll tell you more about how you can do that. Right, let's see this video, which is, just forgotten which one it is. It's John Kimberley. So let me introduce you to John, and we'll be back for our next session about support. See you in a minute.